Students, good afternoon. Am I audible? Students, good afternoon. Am I audible? Can anyone reply?
Good afternoon, sir. Yes, audible.
Oh, yes, Kumar. Yes, can you see the slide? Kumar, am I audible?
Yes, sir. It's
Okay,
visible.
perfect. So we'll start today's session. So before going to the today's topic, let me do a quick recap of the concepts what we have discussed in the previous class. See, in Unit 1, in this particular subject, so majorly we covered the topic related to risk management and risk identification. And then after that, we majorly understood about risk measurement, that is evaluating the frequency and severity of the losses. Then in the next part, in the next unit, we majorly understood the difference between insurance, gambling, investment, and we came to know the definition and basic characteristics of insurance. Then historical framework of insurance. Then majorly we understood about the IRDA, that is the Duties and Power and IRDA Act 1999. Then in the unit 4, majorly we stressed upon life insurance. So wherein we understood about basics of life insurance, then life insurance classification, and annuities, need of annuity contracts, and classification of various annuities. See, this entire subject is concerned, once again I'm repeating, it's a completely theoretical subjects. And yesterday I have mailed you the previous year question papers too. I hope if you have received, can anyone tell me if you have checked your mail, have you received the question papers of the previous year of all the subjects? Students, have you checked your mail inbox?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So now, today we will start with the new topic, that's the general insurance. Now, when we speak about general insurance, so general insurance, can anyone tell me what is the meaning of general insurance? Already we have discussed this, but this module unit is concerned, we'll be discussing about uh, various general insurance instruments. Yes, anybody? What do you understand by the term called as general insurance? Hello, students. Kumar.
Sir, this is not determined by the life insurance.
This is not determined. But no, generally, what is this general insurance? Is it life insurance or non-life insurance?
Sir, non-life, like
Non-life
automobile.
insurance. Okay. Which is applicable to whom or to what all? When I say non-life insurance, it is applicable to what? Is it
So
applicable to?
vehicles.
Very good. Yes. Vehicles, and then house,
So properties.
property. Very good. Right. So, as you people have understood, general insurance is a contract in which the insurer assumes to compensate the insured in case of any loss or damage. So there is a regular payment given of the sum of money, which is known as premium, and which is a type of production contract, not an investment contract. So general insurance, let me repeat once again. So general insurance is also a non-life insurance policies, which includes, as Kumar mentioned, automobile, that is a vehicle, and even home, that is house owner policies, which provides payment depending on the loss from a particular financial event. So general insurance, I can say like this, no? That is it's a contract that do not come under the ambit of life insurance, as Kumar mentioned. The different forms of general insurance, what we discussed already, that is fire insurance, marine insurance, motor insurance, accident, and other various miscellaneous non-life insurance. So there is a regular payment given here also, which we discussed even in life insurance, that's called as premium. So it is a type of production contract, not an investment contract. That's very important, what we need to understand here. It means that the money given as premium will be repaid to the insurer only when there is a certain specified event that's going to happen which result in loss or damage to the insured. So in this particular unit, so we'll try to understand, please see the slide here, the meaning, then various laws related to general insurance, then general insurance contract, then general insurance corporation. Then there are various, private players now in general insurance. We'll try to understand the performance of private and public general insurance companies available in India. Then the meaning of health insurance, how exactly the health insurance will function. Then fire insurance, marine insurance, and finally, we'll try to understand about the motor vehicle insurance in detail. So in the unit 4, we majorly understood about the life insurance policies. Here in unit 5, we'll try to understand about in detail about the general insurance. So you can see the slide over there. As you all know, general insurance is a contract in which the insurer compensates the insured in case of any loss or damage against a regular payment of money, which is known as premium. So there are various insurances which are, which are very compulsory, like motor insurance and even the public liability insurance. See, there is a transfer of individual risk to an insurer in general insurance. The risk is borne by the insurer by the help of pooling the funds and depending on the working. So there are different types of risk. So these are divided into subcategory. So in general insurance, students, what gets transferred to an insurer is actually the variance of the individual risk. Let me repeat it once again. In case of general insurance, what gets transferred to an insurer is actually the variance of the individual risk. So the latter is borne by the insurer through how? Through pooling. Through pooling it, relying on the operation of large numbers. And as risks are heterogeneous, they must be appropriately classified into subpools. So as risk theory has emerged as a major strand in actuarial literature, right? So you can see here, insurance contracts that do not come under the ambit of life insurance are basically called as general insurance. So it deals with the various issues like adequacy of premiums, sources of profits, and capital requirements. So insurers also use a number of concepts and practices like the experience rating or the credibility theory, and forecasting and runoff techniques while determining the premiums. They normally, people today, they compare and then they take a call. So premium rates may be applied as a class or individual rates. So apart from rating, insurers also have to maintain a number of reserves. So rating and reserving are the two central actuarial processes that underlie the financial management of an insurance company. So after understanding the basic meaning of this general insurance, so we'll try to understand some of the essential elements of a contract. The first and the foremost, as you can see the slide here, that's called offer and acceptance. See, the insurance contract, like any other contract, is governed by the general principles of the law as described in the Indian Contract Act. All of you know this. What is this offer and acceptance? As we have discussed earlier, An offer is made by the insured on duly submitting a proposal, and acceptance is made by whom? It is made by the insurer, usually by the issue of a cover note or policy. So here students, the acceptance is valid only on a payment of premium. That's very, very important. Even I told you in the earlier, that is life insurance unit also. What is this premium? Premium is the consideration received by the insurer and promise to indemnify the benefit received by the insured. So when I speak legally, the consent must be based on common intention and understanding, and the parties to contract should be competent to contract. And then majorly, the legal principles governing general insurance contracts are the principle of indemnity, then the principle of insurable interest, then the principle of contribution. When I say principle of contribution, students, which allocates liability when the insured has contracted with more than one insurer. And then the principle of subrogation. So what do you mean by subrogation here? Which indicates the rights that an insurer acquires, correct? That is the insured to which it has to pay an indemnity. And finally, the principle of proximate cause. What is this proximate cause? Which determines how to proceed with a risk event that is caused by multiple factors, some of them not covered by the insurance contract too. And then laws related to general insurance business, that is Nationalization Act, what we call in 1972. See, the General Insurance Business Act 1972 provides for the acquisition and transfer of shares of Indian insurance companies and undertakings of other existing insurers. So it is designed to bring about improvement in the economy through the development, regulation, and control of general insurance business in the best interest of what? In the best interest of the community. So the main purpose of this General Insurance Business Nationalization Act was to nationalize the 100 odd general insurance companies and subsequently merging them into 4 companies, which are they? All the companies were amalgamated into National Insurance, then New India Assurance, then Oriental Insurance, and United India Insurance, which were headquartered in each of the 4 metropolitan cities. Then very important, students, what we need to understand, some of the main provisions of the Act. The first one was acquiring company. See, it means any Indian insurance company where a scheme has been framed involving the merger of one Indian insurance company in another, or the amalgamation of 2 or more such companies, means the Indian insurance company in which any other company has been merged, or the company which has been formed as a result of the amalgamation. Then, appointed day. It means not being a day later than the 2nd day of January 1973. That is the day that is very important, as the central government may by notification appoint. Then existing insurer, the concept of existing insurer. That means every insurer, the management of whose undertaking has vested in the central government under Section 3 of the General Insurance Act 1971, and includes the undertaking of the Life Insurance Corporation so far as it relates to the general insurance business carried on by it. Then very important is general insurance business, which includes fire, marine, or miscellaneous insurance business, whether carried on a singly or in a combination, but does not include the capital redemption, business and annuity certain business. Then we have to understand the formation of this general insurance, that is General Insurance Corporation of India. That is, when we speak about the formation of this, Section 9 of the Act lays down that the central government shall soon after commencement of this act form a government company in accordance with the provision of the Companies Act, to be known as the General Insurance Corporation of India, for the purpose of what? The basic objective was what? That is, the basic objective was controlling and carrying on the business of general insurance in India with the authorized capital of 250 crore. Students, I'm repeating once again. I'm explaining you the formation of the General Insurance Corporation, which they can ask you. Explain the formation of GIC. So, the Section 9 of the Act lays down that the central government shall soon after the commencement of this Act form a government company in accordance with the provisions of the Companies Act, to be known as General Insurance Corporation of India. For what purpose? For the purpose of controlling and carrying on the business of general insurance with the initial authorized capital of 250 crore. So according to the provision, students, carried under the Section 10, so what it says, all the shares in the capital of every Indian insurance company which stand transferred to and vested in the central government by virtue of provisions of this act shall immediately after such vesting stand transferred to and vested in the corporation, and every Indian insurance company shall forthwith give effect to such transfer of shares and rectify its register of members by including therein the corporation as the holder of such shares. So, some of the functions of the corporation, that is of the General Insurance Corporation, that is Section 18 of the GIB Act, defines the functions of the corporation, which includes carrying on any part of the general insurance business if it thinks it is desirable to do so, right? Then advising the acquiring companies in the matter of controlling their expenses, which includes the payment of commission and other expenses. Then advising the acquiring companies in the matter of investment of their funds, and issuing the directions to acquire companies in relation to the conduct of general insurance business. So what are the functions of acquiring companies? We'll try to understand now. Each acquiring company, I'm repeating once again, students, please concentrate. Each acquiring company shall so function under this act as to secure that general insurance business is developed to the best advantage of the community. So the prime function of the acquiring company will be what? Is the development of the general insurance business to the best advantage of the community. So when I say best advantage of community means what? It is for all the people. Then the second important function of the acquiring company includes, for the removal of doubts, it is hereby declared that the corporation and any acquiring company may subject to the rules, if any, made by the central government in this behalf. So into such contracts of reinsurance or reinsurance treaties as it may think fit for the protection of its interest. So then what are the powers of the central government under the act? Right? So we have to understand the powers of central government under this particular act. So power to transfer employees, very important. The first important power of central government here is power to transfer the employees. So under the provision of Section 22 of the Act, the corporation may at any time transfer any employee or any officer from any acquiring company or the corporation to any other acquiring company or the corporation as the case may be. So the officer or employee so transferred shall continue to have the same terms and conditions of service as it was applicable to him immediately before such transfer. Then power to issue the directions by the central government. See, according to the Section 23, the corporation and every acquiring company shall, in the discharge of its functions, be guided by such directions in regard to matters of policy involving public interest as the central government may give, and power to frame or amend a scheme. See, very important. That means if the central government is of opinion that for the more efficient carrying on of general business, it is necessary to do so, it may by notification frame one or more schemes. The central government may by notification add to amend or vary any scheme framed under this section. So a copy of every scheme and every amendment framed under this section shall be laid as soon as maybe after it may be made before each house of parliament. And last but not the least power of central government is power to regulate the terms and conditions of service of officers and other employees, which is section 17A. So what happens here? The central government may by notification, see, that is very important, students. Each and everything can be implemented only by the notification, that too in the official gazette. Okay, frame or one or more schemes for regulating the pay scales and other terms and conditions of service of officers and other employees of the corporation or any other acquiring company. So these are some of the concepts of GIC. But what are the objectives of General Insurance Corporation? Please see my cursor, the second point here. What are the objectives of GIC? Formation of GIC, everybody understood. That is, the nationalization of general insurance was done in the year 1972 by the government. So what happens at that time? There was an amalgamation between 107 insurance companies, correct, along with the foreign companies, which formed the four major companies. Which are they? The National Insurance Company Limited, the New India Assurance Company Limited, then the Oriental Insurance Company Limited, and finally the United India Assurance Company Limited. And where were the head office located at that time? It was located in 4 metropolitan cities, which includes Kolkata, Mumbai, Delhi, and Chennai. Then what happened? This was basically the forming of GIC. So the General Insurance Corporation was formed as the holding company of 4 general insurance companies. So these 4 companies are the government companies which are registered under the Companies Act. So GIC has started the business in January 1st, 1973. So it was made for building competition among the 4 subsidiary companies. So GIC, that is General Insurance Corporation, was made for checking the aviation insurance, which includes hull and liability of national carriers like Indian Airlines and Air India. Then the second important point here, what are the objectives of General Insurance Corporation? So General Insurance Corporation, the basic objectives was, please understand this, supervising, monitoring, and very important thing is developing or doing the business of general insurance in India. Right? So the other major objectives of General Insurance Corporation includes GIC, that is General Insurance Corporation, helps the rural population by giving need-based and low-cost general insurance policy to them. That means the basic objective here is everybody should take the general insurance if they are required. So majorly, the GIC helps the rural population by giving the need-based and low-cost general insurance policy to them. Then the second important objective here is the crop insurance scheme. So which is very, very beneficial for the farmers. So the crop insurance scheme is launched for increasing the profits of the farmers. Not only profits of the farmers, due to this heavy rainfall or no rainfall, if that particular year, if the crop fails or it doesn't, come, then who will pay for the farmers? The insurance companies, right? Then the planning of such insurance scheme which provides social security to the public. That's very important. Social security will be there for the public. So what I'm trying to explain you, the objectives of General Insurance Corporation. Then the fourth objective of GIC includes, it will help in promoting the insurance companies in the country, which has helped in easy availability of insurance to the general public. Then last but not the least objective of General Insurance Corporation of India is It has also helped in mobilizing the saving of the public, which has indirectly affected the balanced regional development of the country. So these are some of the objectives of General Insurance Corporation in India. But broadly speaking, students, the basic objective of this General Insurance Corporation in India will be supervising, monitoring, and majorly the developing and doing the business of general insurance in India. Okay. Then after that, the third point here, please see the cursor here, functions of GIC. That's called functions of General Insurance Corporation. So as everybody know, the first primary function of General Insurance Corporation in India is perform the function of general insurance. That means GIC does the work of general insurance business according to the provision of the Act. And the second function of GIC includes assistance to general insurance companies which are operating in India, which includes both public sector as well as private sector organizations or companies. So GIC provide help and even the suggestions to the general insurance companies according to the standard of conduct and also for giving better service to the customers. And the third important function of general insurance corporations in India is controlling cost. It helps the acquiring companies in controlling various costs like the payment of commission and other expenses. And the fourth important function of General Insurance Corporation will be investment of funds, correct? So GIC helps the acquiring firms in the various decisions made by the firm. So it gives them advice about the investment of funds. And last but not the least is the GIC actually what it gives the direction. So it gives the direction to whom? It gives the direction to the companies which are operating in the general insurance sector in India. So when I say give direction, it gives the directions to acquiring company for conducting the general insurance business smoothly in Indian soil or in India. Then the next point, please see my cursor, we'll try to understand GIC and its subsidiaries. See, please understand students, we will try to understand some of the subsidiaries here. See, with effect from December 2000, there were following, 4 subsidiaries which are functioning as an independent insurance companies. The first one, as you all know, that is Oriental Insurance Company Limited, right? And the second one is called New India Assurance Company Limited. And the third one is called National Insurance Company Limited. And finally, we have the United India Insurance Company Limited. So these are some of the subsidiaries of the GIC. So let me take each subsidiary and explain you when it was actually formed. See, Oriental India Company Limited was incorporated at Bombay on 12th September 1947, the year when we got the independence. So the Oriental Insurance Company Limited was a wholly owned subsidiary of the Oriental Government Security Life Assurance Company Limited, and it was formed to carry out general insurance business in India. But here, what we have to understand, students, the company was a subsidiary of what? Of Life Insurance Corporation of India from 1956 to 1973. Then later, what happened, students, in the year 2003, all the shares of the company held by the General Insurance Corporation of India has been transferred to central government. Okay. And the second one is called as New India Assurance Company Limited. So this New India Assurance Company Limited was established by Sir Dorab Tata. All of you know Sir Dorab Tata on July 23rd, 1919. So New India was the first, please understand this, I'm repeating, New India was the first fully owned insurance company in India, which was set up to provide insurance protection to all the Indians. Then what happened later? It was nationalized in 1973 with the merger of 23 Indian companies. And very, very interesting thing is, it even commenced the overseas operations in the year 1920, that is 1920. Just imagine how old it was. Then we have the the National Insurance Company Limited. See, this National Insurance Company Limited was incorporated in 1906, that is 1906, with its registered office in Kolkata. So what we are understanding now, students, we are understanding GIC as well as its subsidiaries. So which are the four subsidiaries? Again, I'll repeat. The first one is called Oriental Insurance Company Limited, then New India Assurance Company Limited, National Insurance Company Limited, and finally United India Insurance Company Limited. So here we are understanding the third subsidiary, that's called National Insurance Company Limited. So the National Insurance Company Limited was incorporated in when? 1906, with its registered office in Kolkata. So consequent to passing of the General Insurance Business Nationalization Act in 1972, 21 foreign and 11 Indian companies were amalgamated with it. And the National became a subsidiary of General Insurance Corporation of India, which is fully owned by Government of India. So this National Insurance Company Limited is one of the leading public sector insurance companies of India, carrying out non-life insurance business, which is headquartered in Kolkata. Right. So NIC's network way back in 2010, I believe, okay, is about 1,000 offices, which is managed by more than 16,000 skilled personnel, which is spread about the length and breadth of the country. And the last, part of this subsidiary is called United India Assurance Company Limited. See, this United India Assurance Company Limited, which is one of the among four public general insurance companies of India and a leading general insurance player, which includes public and private sector. See, United India Insurance Company Limited was incorporated as a company on 18 February 1938. And it has a network of 18,300 workforce spread across 1,340 offices, providing insurance cover to more than 1 crore policy holders. I'm telling you, 2010 onwards, 2010 and 15. So the company has a variety of insurance products to provide insurance cover from you can just imagine a small bullock cart insurance is also there, up to satellites, right? Then after understanding the various subsidiaries, we'll try to understand the last part here, that is the challenges of General Insurance Corporation, that is challenges of GIC. So what were the challenges at that time and now presently for the General Insurance Corporation to operate in India? See, the new as well as the old insurers are facing plenty of challenges in the liberalized market. The first and the foremost challenge is what? Competition. So, new insurers, that means what? These insurers are to invest a minimum 100 crore as capital. So the insurance business does not produce profit. Please understand this. In the first 5 years, as the generation of profits normally starts in the 6th year. Right. So hence the new insurers have to be ready for locking up the capital for 5 years without earning any profit. Right. See how much challenging it is. So besides, they are facing problems regarding shortage of the trained managerial cadres for insurance industry. And students, I want to repeat once again, this insurance industry is concerned when it comes to your career point of view, huge and plenty of opportunities are there. Right. So even the setting up of various offices and the distribution channel is a time consuming process. That is one of the serious challenge of some of the challenges of GIC. So further, the new insurers have to compete. That's what I told. No, competition is one of the serious challenge in any industry, and in general insurance also it is one of the challenge. So the new insurers have to compete with the established insurers like whom? Like Life Insurance Corporation of India and General Insurance Corporation, which have created their corporate image over the years, because already students, these were some of the old players in the market. So when old players are there in the market, it has already gained the market share. It has built the reputation in the market. Correct. So which have created their corporate image over the years, which are the LIC and GIC, which have the biggest network of branches and agents, have a pool of experienced managers and vast financial resources are available with these two companies. So that is one of the serious challenge for a new entry. See, further, a life fund of the LIC continue to be guaranteed by the government itself, right? So the foreign insurers who are the partners of the Indian insurers will have expertise of the international market. So it will help in establishing corporate image in the market. But what is happening? But foreign insurers lack experience and knowledge about Indian insurance market that can prove to be a major handicap. So the Indian insurers mostly will be from the manufacturing industry and they may have some knowledge of the consumers for non-financial products. This may help in marketing of the insurance products. So that was the first challenge for the General Insurance Corporation in India. That is what competition or the new insurers. And the second important challenge of this General Insurance Corporation in India is existing insurers. So what do you mean by existing insurers here? The existing insurers, that is LIC and GIC, have created a large group of dissatisfied customers. All of you know that, right? So due to the poor quality of services. So hence there is a shift in large number of customers from the LIC and GIC to the private insurers. So GIC and its 4 subsidiary companies are going to face still more challenges. Their management expenses are very high due to the surplus staff and they cannot reduce their number due to the service rules, right? So their management of claims is also not up to the mark. See what is happening today, students, due to the technology upgradation, they have already recruited large amount of people are already on board. So they cannot simply sack them or remove them, right? So that is one pain for this existing insurers. So this will put strain on their financial resources. Further, they have been depending upon the premium income of the corporate clients, mainly have not developed business in the personal line. And even there is a threat or the danger that GIC and its 4 companies or subsidiaries will very soon lose corporate clients. Then after that, the next challenge for this General Insurance Corporation would be expectation of the consumer or expectation of the people nowadays. So the customers or the people expect innovative products from general insurers for managed healthcare, property insurance, accident insurance, and other products related to the personal line of insurance. So I told all of you that there is a huge potential for this particular business in India. And then the 4th important challenge of this GIC would be distribution channel, right? See, what is this distribution channel? The new insurers operate with the help of multi-distribution channels, but the existing insurers may be forced to operate only with the help of agents. So why do agents do the business of general insurance? Because they get the commission from the companies, right? So hence what is happening, intense competition will grow among the old and the new insurers in the market to win the people, of to win the customers. So ultimately, students, if there is a huge competition, who are the beneficiaries here? Ultimately, we are the beneficiaries, right? So only fittest to survival, people who are innovative, people who are adaptive to changes, people who implement the technology, right? Only they can survive in the market. Then after that, the education, that is the consumer education. See, it is necessary that the extensive plan for education of consumer should be undertaken by all the insurers. That is awareness, what I'm telling you, awareness and creating why exactly this general insurance is required for each and every individual. That awareness has to be created. So the consumer organizations and the media can also play a very, very important role in educating the consumers. So this will drastically expand the insurance market, especially the general insurance market, and will also keep the needy customers to purchase appropriate products. And last but not the least challenge for this GIC, what we can list is the consumer grievance redressal. So what happens here? The insurers have to face an acute problem of the redressal of the consumers regarding the grievances for the deficiency in products and as well as services. So IRDA, that is Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, has already appointed ombudsman for looking into the grievances of the policyholder, and the judgment will be binding on the insurers. And further, under the Consumer Protection Act, that is 1986, the consumer courts are operating at the district, state, and the national level. So in the competitive market, what is happening, students? Awareness level of the consumers will increase, and it will help people to fight for the legal rights, for the deficiency in services. So hence the number of legal cases filed by the people against the insurers is likely to increase substantially in the future. So this will be what? This will be serious challenge to all the companies who are operating in the general insurance business in India. So these are some of the challenges faced by general insurance companies in India. So I hope all of you have understood today's concept. In tomorrow's class, we will try to understand some of the players, that is private general insurance companies in India. Okay. So I'll stop the session here, students, for the day. I'll end the session. So tomorrow we will continue.